Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Facebook has a new look to live, so I'm still figuring that out. But I think I've got it. It looks different, so it's throwing me off. But good morning, everybody. Oh my goodness. It is warm out there already. Hi, hello, whoever just joined. It is so humid already. We did have our walk already, so I wanted to try to get out there before it got too much hotter. So I think Noodles will be resting a lot during this. Yeah. I hope you are well, and it is good to see you all. Hello, hello, hello. As always, if you have a sturdy chair, a block of some kind, a strap, be good to have those. Let me turn the other light on. All right, it's a little better. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to use the chair this time for our revolved triangle. I want to do that again because I don't know about you, but I'm feeling very stiff. Full confession, I have not done yoga since the last time I taught it, I think. So, yeah. So there you go. I'm pretty stiff this morning, so I am definitely needing some stretching. So, yeah, so if you have a sturdy chair without rollers, a block, a strap, it does not have to be a fitness strap. It could be a stretchy band or a long scarf, that kind of thing. Any of those things will work. Hello. All right. Well, we had 3 people watching. Now we only have 1. I don't know what that means, but I hope everyone can find it. I don't think it should look different to anybody else, but the setup for going live looks different than it used to. So I think I'll just wait another couple of minutes. Hi, hello, whoever found me. If either of you had trouble finding this, would you let me know? Because I don't know if, let's see. Oh, I wonder if I have to do a different setting. Okay, I think everyone should be able to comment. Looks like you can moderate how often people can post and limit it to certain people, but so I think everyone should be able to comment. If someone's on there, would you mind to just comment for me? Just say hi to make sure that I can see that you all can post. Because again, the setup looks very different, or a little different than it did before for live. So I want to make sure everybody can see me. I can see we have 3 people watching, but I don't see any comments as I usually do. It's over on the left now. It used to be on the right. So I'm wondering, if there's something else I need to do here. Only my followers. I don't feel like I need to restrict it. Anyway, okay. I'm just going to assume that you guys can see me and hear me, and those of you who have if you're on, of course you are on Facebook, if there's anything if there's something going on that you can't see, just message me and I'll try and pay attention. You can't see or can't hear what I'm doing here, but it looks like I'm live. So, all right, so we're gonna get started. It is gonna be a hot one. It already is a hot one, so make sure that you get plenty of water if you don't have any water with you right now, hey, whoever's joining us, hi, hi, hi. You might want to grab some water right now because I don't know about you, but even inside I'm feeling the humidity. So, all right. Hey, let's get back on our mats and let's get started. All right, good morning, good morning. Let's get settled onto our mat. Feeling our sits bones, the base of our pelvis really connected down into the mat. Feeling free to move those fleshy bits a little bit so that we can really feel that grounding. Coming to cross leg if that's comfortable for you. Feel free to have your legs out straight. Just allow your knees to be bent. If your legs are out straighter, any sort of seated position that works best for you. What we want to find is a place where we can allow our spine to be nice and straight. And so we just don't want to be sitting back on our tailbone. We don't want to be kind of back here. We want to try to be up on those sits bones, sitting with the straight back. And because it would be normal to feel tight this morning, if you, like I, haven't done yoga since the last time we were together, then you can sit on your roll that bit of your mat and let those bony parts of your pelvis just roll right forward, and that takes all the work out of your low back. It's a wonderful option. Whew. And then you don't have to strain or stress. You can also sit on a little pillow if you like. Sitting up nice and straight, feeling free to have your eyes open or closed here. And let's just sit together with our natural breath for just a few breaths together. Allowing ourselves to get present. Any busyness that's happened already, everything it took to get ourselves to this place this morning. All those things we may have yet to do this afternoon and the rest of the morning, we can allow those things to soften out to the edge of our awareness. They'll be there for us when we are finished with our class, but for now, just know that we don't have to hold on to those things. Feeling the heart lift up. See if we can allow the shoulders to soften a little bit down from the ears without forcing them down. Just seeing if we can begin to release some of the tension there in the shoulders. Just by simply being. Try not to fix anything. And just noticing where we feel the breath in the body this morning. You feel it most in your mouth, in your sinuses, the nostrils, the throat, the upper chest, the lower chest, perhaps the diaphragm. Find into any places that may be especially tight or tense or tender this morning. Making sure we give those places lots of room as we move through our practice. Beginning to move into our full, slow breath. A big inhale, lifting the heart, feeling the spine lift up out of the pelvis. The belly button pushes away from the spine with that inhale, and then with each exhale, slowly squeezing the air back out. It's that long exhale that really helps begin to lower our blood pressure, lower our fight, flight, freeze response. Allows us to actually begin to release some of that stress. deep, full inhale. Really feeling the rib cage reach out to each side as we reach the belly button out away from the spine, filling up the lungs all the way to the bottom. And then again, each exhale, slowly squeezing the air back out. We can use that Ujjayi breath if we like, that soft fluttering sound on the back of the throat, if you feel like you'd like to try that. That is with our mouth closed. We make the ah sound as we inhale and the ha sound as we exhale. Continuing with that slow rhythmic breath. Noticing perhaps as we exhale that our shoulders can relax down a little bit more from the ears. Practicing letting go of our attachment to the way things should be with our bodies. Perhaps letting go of angers or frustrations. Just practicing letting go, knowing that it is always a practice. It's a continual piece of work that we do. Remembering that our breath is always there to help us practice letting go of those things that we are no longer in need of. We need to move through our gentle neck stretches. Big inhale, lift the heart, lift the crown of the head up to the sky. As we exhale, turn the face to the right. With an inhale, come back forward, lift the heart, lift the crown of the head. And exhale, turn to the left. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder, and then draw the left shoulder down away from the left ear, and then draw the right shoulder down. Keep lifting the heart, breathing here. And on an inhale, lift back up. Exhale, let your left ear drop toward your left shoulder. Draw the right shoulder down, and then draw the left shoulder down. Really lifting the heart. Slow breath. And on an inhale, lift back up. Exhale, very gently let your chin drop towards the chest. Don't force it down. Just let it go to a place where it feels like a pleasant stretch. You want to feel some stretch on the back of the neck, but you want to feel no pain ever. And then from here, gently, on our next inhale, lift the left ear up to the sky. So we're turning our face sideways like we're trying to lift that ear up a bit. Then we can stay still if that feels best, or if we want to explore just a little bit of movement with our head to get a little bit more stretch in some of those amazing neck muscles that do so much, but be very gentle, nice and slow. And on your next exhale, release your face straight back down. Inhale, lift your right ear up to the sky. Again, stay still if that feels best, or explore a little gentle movement. And then on an exhale, release your face straight back down. On our inhale, slowly lift the head back up, roll the shoulders all the way up to the ears. And then exhale, stretch the shoulder blades down the back. We'll just do that a couple more times. Inhale, lift the shoulders up. Exhale, back and down. Ooh, one more time. Inhale, roll them up. And exhale down. Ooh, good. All right, reach your left fingers out, just the fingertips on the mat, straight out from your shoulders. So try not to have them out towards the front or towards the back. Straight out from your shoulder. Inhale, reach the right hand straight up to the sky. Really reach through the fingertips. Exhale, flatten that left palm onto the mat. Strong left shoulders, and we're reaching our right fingers for the place where the wall meets the ceiling. So we're not trying to go sideways, just going in a nice long arc, keeping that left arm really strong, gripping the muscles to the bones. And then on an exhale, allow the left elbow to bend. Keep reaching for that high place and really press the right hip down into the mat. So it's like our right hip and our left hand are countering each other to help with that stretch all along the right side of the body. And then on an inhale, lift straight back up. And exhale, release the right fingers down. Inhale, left hand reaches straight up, really stretch, stretch, stretch. Exhale, flatten the right hand, reach now for that opposite high corner, really pressing the left hip down into the mat. Nice and slow. On an exhale, allow the right elbow to bend. Keep reaching for that high place. Press the left hip into the mat. Enjoy that stretch all along the side of the left body. And on an inhale, lift straight back up. Exhale, release. Extend the legs out front, give them a little bounce. Great, and now we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, out away from our hips. So please scoot forward a bit here. I have to keep my bony ankles on the mat or it doesn't feel good. All right, so staying up on our sits bones, but our heels are together and they're out about an arm's length away from our hips. So we're going to be sitting up again nice and straight if we can. It's another great place to use that rolled up mat. Hands in front of the hips. Roll the shoulders back and down and then squeeze them together. So we're going to work on keeping our back as straight as we can for as long as we can, and then we'll be curving over and enjoying the stretch. So squeezing the shoulder blades together, but try to keep them down away from the ears so they're not up next to our ears. They're stretching down and then squeezing together. All right, keep those shoulder blades squeezing together. Take a big inhale. As we exhale, reach the heart forward. Work on keeping our neck in line with our spine. So if you feel a lot of stretch on the back of the neck, it probably means we're reaching our head down. We also don't want to feel a crunch here. So really just thinking about lengthening the spine through the crown of the head. Slowly going forward, try to keep squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then when you're ready, go ahead and let your back curve over. Let your head relax. Let your hands reach out just as far as feels like a good stretch. Turn something off here. Great. All right, keeping your torso and your head relaxed. Slowly walk your hands over towards the left, making sure that you keep your hands supported. So if you're up a little taller here, just make sure your hands are supported somewhere on the floor or on your leg. We just don't want them hanging out here in space that can strain the low back. So just want to keep them supported wherever they are. Slow breath. Slowly walk hands back to center. And then walk them over towards the right. Slowly walk hands back to center, and then begin to walk the hands back towards the hips. As we do that, squeeze the shoulder blades together again, like those muscles between our shoulder blades are lifting us back up. Coming all the way back up to seated, roll the shoulders up one more time, stretch them down, extend the legs, give them a max. All right, we're going to come up onto whatever version of all fours works best for you. I'll be on hands and knees, but feel free to come instant to a seated version. We're going to go through our regular few poses here through asanas. So we'll be doing cow, cat, our sunbird, spinal balance, and then moving into either yogi push-ups or plank, forearm plank, okay? So if you want to stay off your hands and knees, no problem. This is an option for cow, cat. So seated, our heels are just as wide as the hips. Hands kind of in front of the knees, the shins. Take an inhale for cow, lifting the heart, looking up towards the ceiling. We don't need to look straight above. We just want to feel a little bit of a stretch on the front of the neck here. And then as we exhale, we'll round the back, arching it into cat. So that's the seated version. Coming into hands and knees version, if you like that. Knees are directly underneath the hips. Wrists are directly underneath the shoulders, or fists, great option. See myself here. Or forearms, elbows underneath the shoulders. Any of those are great. All right, moving through our cow cat. If hands are on the mat, our fingers are spread wide, but our thumb is at a natural distance from the first finger. Insides of the elbows face each other more than the front of the room. Cow cat. Inhale, let the belly drop. Lift the tailbone, lift the heart, look forward. As we exhale, tuck the tailbone, pull the belly button up, reach the crown of the head down, really push away with the hands, the fists, the elbows. Inhale, coming back to cow. And exhale to cat, moving with your breath, nice and slow, really appreciating the flow of the spine, whatever position you're in. Seated or one of the on the knees version. Nice and slow. Last cow cat. Coming back to our all fours. So we'll be doing our sunbird. And for those of us preferring not to be on our knees, we want to have the forearm on the mat, elbow underneath the shoulder. Both knees are a little bent here. Top hand is on the hip. Toes are pulling to the knee, and that heel is pulling to the hip. So the top heel pulls to the top hip. And then as from here, keeping the toes pulled to the knee, heel pulled to the hip, we'll reach that knee back and look off to the side of it. Exhale, draw the forehead and knee together. All right, feel free to do that version if that works best for you. If you want to be up on some version of hands and knees, you can do that too. All right, so we're going to pull our left toes to the left knee, pull the left heel up to the hip. Moving our weight over, if we're on this version, to the lower right leg. With an inhale, lift the knee, look forward. We want to feel a pleasant stretch in our quad. Exhale, draw the forehead and knee together. Push the floor away. So inhale, lifting up, trying to keep the toes pulled towards the knee, heel towards the hip as we move through our sunbird. Whatever version we're in, we want to go nice and slow. Again, we want to feel a pleasant stretch in our quad, the front of the thigh, as well as in the hip. Last one on this side. And come back to all fours. So if you are on the floor, just switch over to the other side. And I'll just switch to here so this side is facing the camera. So now pull the right toes to the right knee, right heel to the hip. Bring the weight to the lower left leg. On an inhale, lift the right knee, look forward. Exhale, draw the forehead and knee together. Push the floor away. Really working to keep the toes pulled towards the knee, which protects the ligaments of the knee from being overstretched. And keeping the heel as close to the hip as we can, which helps with that stretch in our quad. Great. One more on this side. And coming back to all fours for our spinal balance. Staying here, if we want to be on all fours of some version, if we're seated, you can have, we're going to be lifting one leg and the opposite arm. You can play around with whether or not having the leg that's not lifted stay on the ground or be bent, if that feels better to your low back. So when we're on hands and knees, what we'll be doing is pushing one heel straight back. So here we're going to push it straight forward, and the opposite hand reaches back. All right. Using that core, okay? All right. If we're on hands and knees of some kind, and you can totally do this from elbows, no problem. Keeping our gaze straight down at the mat, and if we're on our buns, then we want to keep our gaze straight forward. Take an inhale and reach the right finger straight forward, push the left heel straight back. Really try to lift the torso up from the mat so we're not sinking down into our joints here, but really lifting up. We're going to really stretch the fingers straight forward, heel straight back. If we feel any crunch at all in our lower back as we are pushing our heel, it's probably because we're trying to lift too high. So we're really trying to just push straight back. On an exhale, come back to all fours. Great. Next inhale, reach the left finger straight forward. The right heel straight back. Again, try to keep lifted up out of those joints. Pushing straight back, reaching straight forward. On an exhale, come back to all fours, and we'll flow that twice on each side. Inhale, reach the right fingers and left heel away from each other. Really stretch. And exhale, come back. Inhale, left fingers, right heel, stretch. Come back with our exhale. One more time on each side. Really enjoying the stretch. Imagining that we're trying to put some more space between each of our vertebrae. And coming back to all fours and settling back into child's pose if that works for you. Feel free to have your toes tucked or not. Feel free to come to this version of child's pose. If being on your knees doesn't work, feel free to come onto one hip. Just rolling onto the floor. Slow, steady breath, more important than anything else. Doesn't matter if you're doing things just like I'm doing or what you've seen in a magazine. What matters is what feels right to you right now. It's so hard sometimes to combat that competitiveness that is ingrained in our culture that says we have to do things a certain way in order to be doing it right. Thank goodness for yoga. We get to explore what feels right to us. And that changes day to day. So, all right, I'm going to move through some yogi push-ups. If you'd rather not be doing push-ups, because it will be on hands, feel free to simply come to a forearm plank. And that can be a kneeling plank, staying on the knees, forearms on the mat, elbows underneath the shoulders. You want enough distance here between your knees and your elbows that it feels like work. All right, we don't want to necessarily be here. We want to be where it feels like work to keep the hips up, or feel free to come into a full forearm plank if you prefer. If you want to join me in some push-ups, come on back into child's pose. Hands reaching far out in front of us. Our hands are only as wide as the shoulders. Try not to have them any wider. Our knees are just as wide as the hip joints. So again, try not to have them any wider. That'll help make sure we're not straining those ligaments along the side of our knees. So reaching forward, fingers spread wide, thumb a natural distance from the first finger. With an inhale, lift the shoulders, bring them all the way forward. Having that chair too close. So our shoulders are over the wrist here. Really tuck the tailbone. You don't want to come down with the sway back. That really crunches our low back. So tuck the tailbone under. Roll the shoulders back and down. On an exhale, lower down. Making sure that we keep the shoulders no lower. We don't want them any lower than our elbows. Hips are off the mat. Push back up. And exhale, come back into child's pose. Nice and slow. We'll go through a few more of these. Come forward, shoulders all the way over wrist. What's important here is not how far down you go. We want to keep the hips off the mat first to protect our low back. And we just want to really make our triceps and our core work. So we're exhaling down, pressing the elbows into the side of the body. All right, there's where some of that tricep work comes. We don't have to go down far. Inhale, come back up. And exhale back. Moving through a few of these at your own breath pace, really paying more attention to your breath and the alignment of tucking the tailbone, elbows into the side of the body. Hips up off the mat. Moving slow. If you've been in plank this whole time, you're amazing. And I don't know that I could have held it this whole time. So if you've been in plank, you're always welcome to rest and then come back up. And let's finish all together back in child's pose. Whatever version of child's pose works best for you right now. All right, let's come up into our dolphin. Everybody on our knees for just a bit. We won't be on knees very long at all. So forearms down onto the mat, elbows underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes as far forward as you can get them. You want toes to be at least as wide as the shoulders, maybe a little wider. That bottom pinky is tucked under as we interlace our fingers. Take an inhale. As we exhale, push away with the toes and the forearms to lift the hips up into dolphin. Really pull the kneecaps up towards the hips. Press away with the forearms. Let me check some messages here. Keep lifting the tailbone. Okay, good. I don't know. Yeah, I hope everyone can still see me. I'm sorry about this new method of live. But anyway, so in dolphin, lifting the tailbone, lift the kneecaps up towards the hips. Press away with the shoulders. Sorry, with the forearms. Shoulders too. Here, we're stretching the shoulder blades away from each other. So earlier we were squeezing them together. Now we really want to stretch our shoulder blades away from each other. All right. From here, we're just going to lift one leg. So on an inhale, lift the right heel, push it straight up to the sky or just away from your hip. So your right heel may not be up to the sky, that's fine. It may be lower, that's absolutely fine. Push through the heel, wherever it is. Press away with the forearms, slow down your breath. And then on an exhale, bring it back down onto the mat. On our next big inhale, lift the left heel, push it straight away from the hip towards the sky or just towards the back of the room. Anywhere there is great. It's that energy pushing through the heel that we're interested in. Slow, steady breath. Ooh. On an exhale, bring the foot back down. Let the knees come down as we get ready to go into downward facing dog. Again, we won't be in down dog long. However, if you would rather just come back into dolphin, feel free to do that. So if you're joining a down dog, hands are on the mat, just shoulders width apart, fingers spread wide, thumb at a natural distance from the first finger. Hands are out, maybe just a little bit in front of the shoulders. Toes stay tucked. Take a big inhale. As we exhale, push the floor away, lift the knees and the hips up. Working to move some of that weight back into our heels, back into our feet. Your heels may not touch the ground, and that's fine. We're not trying to force the heels down. We're actually just trying to take some of that weight off of our hands. Lift the kneecaps up towards the hips. Oh, I really feel how tight the backs of my legs are in this. Stretch the shoulder blades away from each other. All right, and then if you're a dolphin, join us in down dog for just a moment. And then we'll all look at our hands and walk forward to the top of the mat. Our feet are hips distance apart, just as wide as the joints of the hips. Toes are spread wide. Push down through the feet and reach the fingertips out to the side and slowly come all the way up. Keep pushing down through the feet. Reach the hands all the way above. Hands together and down to heart center. And we'll breathe a couple of breaths. Just getting used to being upright again. Let's do a couple of forward folds for a little more stretching. Inhale, reach the hands out and down and up. Exhale, forward fold. Here we want to lead with the heart. Let the knees be bent as we sweep the hands to the floor. Push through the feet. Inhale, come all the way back up. Hands together. And then exhale wide. Come back to heart center. Really stretch through the fingertips. Enjoy that stretch. One more time. Inhale, hands down and up. Look up at your thumbs if you like. Exhale, lead with the heart. Sweep to the floor. Push through the feet to inhale, come all the way back up. Hands together and exhale wide, come back to heart center. All right, we're gonna let's move into warrior one first, and then we're gonna move into a revolved triangle. So I'm gonna be using my sturdy chair for my revolved triangle. Some of you may not want to use a prop at all. You may want to have just a block. I'll show you that too. But first, let's come into warrior one. So back up at the top of our mat. Let's see if it's going to make the most sense. Let's start with our right foot forward, keeping our right foot where it is, in other words, and stepping the left foot back into warrior one. So for warrior one, we want our feet to stay the same distance apart. All right, so we're not trying to keep our heels in a line here. We want our feet to be hips width apart. All right. In warrior one, the front toes, in this case the right toes, are pointing straight forward. The front knee, now the right knee, directly over the ankles. Try not to have it out in front because that can feel like a strain on the knee there, at least it does for me. The back toes are facing forward at about a 45-degree angle. Hips and shoulders are squared to the front of the mat. Shoulder blades are down the back. And there's a tiny tuck to our tailbone. It's a very subtle move, but you can feel it if you just do it like, oh, yeah, felt that. It's a very, very subtle change, but it makes a difference. I'm going to be pressing down through both feet. Drawing the shoulder blades again down the back and towards each other so the heart is lifted. You can keep the hands at heart center. You can have them wide and strong. Reach them up above, whatever works best for you. You can even look up if that feels good. You don't have to. All right, let's all bring the hands to the hips first. And then we're going to straighten our front leg without letting it lock. So we never want to push our joint into a lock position. It's just past that. Tiny little bend in our knee joint always. Lift the kneecaps up towards the hips. We're going to bend over first, and then we're going to move into a revolved triangle. So keeping the hands at the hips if you like. You can also, if you really want more stretch in your shoulders right now, you can do a reverse prayer, which means your palms come together behind your back, like that. If that feels like a good idea. It's a lot of stretch on shoulders, but also hands. Sometimes that feels wonderful, sometimes it's too much. Do what you like. Lifting the kneecaps, take an inhale, lift the heart. As we exhale, reach the heart forward and then down, keeping the neck in line with the spine. We may come to parallel with the floor, we may not. Squeezing the shoulder blades together here. And then if your hands are on, wherever your hands are, bring them back to the hips first. For those of you who don't want to use a prop, you can reach that left hand down to the mat. You can also bring the block directly under your left hand, or you can use this lovely chair as I'm going to. All right, before we twist, we want to lengthen the spine. Really stretch the tailbone back, the crown of the head forward. Take an inhale. As we exhale, begin to turn the chest towards the right. Oh, yeah. And then if you like, you can reach that top hand, the right hand up to the sky. If that feels good. Don't have to do that. Do whichever feels good. Really lift the kneecaps. Imagine you're pulling all the muscles from the feet all the way up into the hips. Slow down your breath. Remember, keeping our neck in line. Spine straight is more important than anything else here. So you may not be turned very far either, and that's fine. Slow breath. On an exhale, release our twist so we're back facing forward. Move the block if you used it, and let's all step forward into a fold at the top of the mat. Knees are a little bent. Slow breath. Push through the feet, reach the hands out to the side, and slowly come all the way up on our inhale. Hands come above and together, and then straight down to heart center. And we'll do that on the other side. So now the left foot stays where it is, top of the mat, toes facing straight forward. Right foot steps straight back. So the left knee now is over the ankle, right toes are facing forward about a 45-degree angle. Knee over that ankle, shoulder blades down the back, that tiny little tuck to our tailbone. Bringing our hands wherever we like, keeping them at heart center, wide and strong, or up above. Try to come back to the same place that you were on the other side. Slow breath. And then moving to our pyramid first. Hands come to the waist, to the hips, straightening the left leg without letting it lock, pulling all the muscles from the feet up towards the hips. Take an inhale. Exhale, hinging over, reaching with the heart. Again, you can come into prayer here if that feels like a good stretch for you. We may not be parallel with the floor, that's just fine. Other alignment things we can pay attention to instead, or as well. Keeping our hips square to the mat, our shoulders squared, really squeezing the shoulder blades together here, trying to take that curve out of our low back. So concentrating more on trying to keep the back straight rather than how far down we are bending over. Again, you may not want to use the block here, or you may want to. If so, it comes right underneath your right hand, or you may want to use this lovely chair again. All right, before we twist, really stretch the spine. Reach the tailbone back, reach the crown of the head forward, take an inhale. Exhale, turn the chest to the left, working to keep the neck in line with the spine, so try not to reach up or down with the head, keeping it nice and straight. And then if you want to, you can reach the top hand up to the sky. Slow down your breath. Bring the hand back to the hip if it was there. On an exhale, return forward, coming out of that twist. Move the block off to the side. And let's all step forward again to the top of our mat, into our forward fold. Push down to the feet, reach the hands out to the side, slowly come all the way up. Hands come together, and then straight down to heart center. And we'll get ready for some balancing posts. This sort of version of mountain, there's a lot going on here, even though we're just standing still. Our toes are spread wide, the arches of the feet lift, the kneecaps lift, there's that tiny bend in our knees, tailbone is tucked under, the heart is lifted, shoulder blades draw down the back like they're trying to get back down to our back pockets, and the crown of the head reaches up to the sky. Let's start with my favorite, tree. Let's start with tree on the right side. So find a focal point that is not moving, something on the floor or the wall. Bring your weight over to your right leg, but also that tree energy, making sure that that standing knee has the tiny little bend in it. We don't want to lock our knee back here. So we're using our muscles to keep our tree nice and strong. We're going to kickstand our left foot. Some of us may want to stay right here, and that's great because we need saplings, right? We need little seedlings as well as big, tall oak trees. We need it all. If you want to raise up higher, feel free to do that. You can bring your foot up to your leg if you want to. Just make sure you don't, that we find a muscle with our heel and not that knee joint. So feel free to come up higher. Let's see if I can manage this today. Some days I can. All right, feel free to keep your hands where they are, or reach them out like branches. The branches can be any shape that you would like. Slow, steady breath. That wobbling means we're getting stronger. If you're wobbling or falling out of your tree, that's totally normal. It really does mean that those muscles are working, they're learning to get stronger. That's good news. Breath, more important than anything else. All right, slowly bringing hands back together and lowering the right foot back down. Sorry, left foot back down. All right, other side. Nice solid foundation on our left foot. Finding your gazing point might be a different one since we're going to be a few inches over. Kickstanding, again, staying here if you like. Or if you want, moving up to a little bit taller tree. Again, making sure that our heel finds a muscle and not our knee joint. I find that when I lift my foot up higher, it really helps to think about pressing the foot and the leg together rather than just trying to keep that foot lifted. Think about pressing them together so there's that counter pressure there. And raising up your branches if you feel like it. Slow down your breath. Bring the hands back together, and then settling back down into our mountain pose. Let's see, let's do dancer. Dancer's challenging, but it's fun. All right, I'm going to turn so you can see me here. So, one thing to keep in mind with dancer is that it's not so much about trying to go forward as it is up, all right? So, let's start with dancer, our solid foundation on our left foot, with our left hand on our left hip. We're going to reach down and hold on to our right ankle. Now, the traditional way is to roll the palm out so the thumb is pointing back, and then lift the foot and hang on to the inside of the ankle. This is a great place to use a wall or a chair. And it's not cheating, that's just a different version, all right? So this, however, does not feel good on my elbow. It feels like a hyperextension of my elbow. So I'm just gonna reach down and hold on like that. What we wanna be careful of when we're in dancer is that we're not just letting our knee wing out to the side, we're really trying to keep it in line with the hip. And that's why this version helps a bit, because it kind of naturally pulls the heel back towards the midline of the body. I'm going to do this version. All right. Again, feel free to hang on to a chair, to the wall here with your left hand. Lifting that right foot up, holding on to the ankle, whichever version you would like. And then, if you want, you can reach the left hand up to the sky. You can also keep your left hand on the wall or the chair that might be beside you. Keep the right toes pulled towards the knee. Take an inhale. As we exhale, begin to hinge forward and really think about lifting up with the heart, with the left fingers, with the right knee. And slowly come out of that. And come back down. It's very challenging. So if you were really flopping around there, that is totally normal. All right, I'm going to switch to the other side. So now solid foundation on our right foot, right hand on the hip or on the wall. Lift the left foot, hang on to it. All right, really try to remember to flex the foot. So we don't want to be here with a pointed toe because that elongates these ligaments here. We really want to shorten them, pull the toes towards our knee. All right. Again, you can keep your right hand on your waist, on the wall or the chair. You can reach it up. Take an inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, hinge forward. But again, think about lifting up with the heart. And that right hand, leave that wall. Lifting up with the left knee. And slowly coming out of that, back into standing. I don't know about you, but I find that very challenging, but it's fun. All right, inhale, sweep the hands all the way up, release your belly, and then tighten your core, reach to the left. Inhale all the way up, release your belly, and exhale, tighten, reach to the right. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, forward fold. And enjoy this forward fold. Knees are bent. Head is relaxed. Your hands can be on the floor, on your leg. Rest your elbows on your knees. Hang on to your elbows with your hands, whatever works best. We really want the knees to be bent here, so the legs and the glutes are doing a lot of the work and not our low back. Relax your neck, and then very gently move the head side to side, like no. And very gently nod, yes. Nice slow breath still. Deep, full breath. And then relax, hands down to the mat, and sit back into a relaxed child's pose, but still connecting with that slow, steady breath. Here we can have our knees wider if that feels good. We can use a pillow or the block even towards the back here to kind of help us relax down. Wherever we are, slow, steady breath is the most important thing. You can keep your hands out front if that feels like a good stretch for your shoulders. You can bring your palms underneath your shoulders or bring your hands back near your feet. Slow down your breath. All right, let's all bring our palms underneath our shoulders and slowly lift up. And then we'll come onto one hip and reach the legs straight out in front of us into staff pose. Let's see if I can check. Oh, here comes you. All right, so our heels are just hips width apart. Yep. Could you help me? Thank you. Our feet are hips width apart. We're sitting up on our sits bones. Shoulder blades are down the back. Squeeze the shoulders together. Really push the soles of the feet forward and push the balls of the feet forward. So we're trying to push the whole surface of the foot forward here. Just keep stretching the shoulder blades down the back like you're trying to get down to your sits bones. And then relax out of that. We're going to do a little bit of a twist. Just bent forward here. So keeping the right foot extended, bring the left foot up and over, just outside the right knee. Okay. Holding on to the left knee with the right hand. It's a big twist here. We're going to go both directions. Inhale, reach the left hand straight up to the sky. And then exhale, turn towards the left. I'm going to be real behind me here. But place that left hand on the mat back behind you. Keep lifting the heart. That's what's most important here. What's most important is to keep the spine straight and keep pushing that front foot forward. All right, so we may not be turned very far, and that's absolutely fine. You want to focus on lifting the heart, keeping the spine straight. What we don't want to do is kind of compact the spine and try and make ourselves turn by keeping the spine in this curved position. Nice straight spine, more important than anything else other than breath. Shoulders are still down the back. Crown of the head is lifted. And then on an exhale, turn back forward. Now hold on to the left hand, so the left knee with the left hand. Reach the right hand straight up. And we'll just turn the other way. Keep pushing with the hip forward with the front heel, lifting the heart. Slow, steady breath. And then on an exhale, release forward, uncross the legs. And we'll just do that on the other side. High knees. High knees. So now the right foot comes up and over to the outside of the left foot. The left heel pushes straight forward, holding on to the right knee with the left hand. Take an inhale. Right hand is up, and as we exhale, we're going to turn that direction again into our other twist. Keep pushing the left heel forward, lifting the heart. Slow, steady breath. We want to feel some work in our core for sure, but we don't want to feel so much strain to try and keep ourselves here that we're not able to enjoy that deep, slow breath. So if you find yourself really straining, just just come out of the twist a little bit more. Okay? Just fine. She's got her big phone. Good girl. All right, exhale, release forward. Switch hands. So now we're holding on to the right knee with the right hand. Reach the left hand up, and now we'll go that direction again. Lifting the heart, pushing forward with the left heel. Crown of the head reaches up to the sky. Shoulder blades down away from the ears. And then on and exhale, release forward. Unpretzel, give the legs a shake. All right, we're going to come up into boat, and then a little extra version of a boat, name of which I can't recall. But for boat, feet come onto the mat, knees bent, hands back behind the knees. So our feet are about, again, hips distance apart. Roll the shoulders back, and then really squeeze them together again. So we're going to try not to roll all the way back past our tailbone here. One way to do that is to really think about lifting the heart up rather than letting our back curve over. So lifting the heart, roll the shoulders back, take an inhale, exhale, lift the toes. So we're pushing forward with the balls of the feet. Keep lifting the heart. If you want to, you can release your hands. You don't have to. If you want to, you can reach up. Slow, steady breath. Oh, I feel this one today. And then exhale, release down. All right, we're going to do a different version of that just for a bit, just for fun. Just play around. All right, we're going to hold on with our peace fingers, those two fingers on our right hand around our big toe. All right? Take an inhale. Exhale, reach out with the big toe. Push through that right heel. And then we're going to try to do the other one at the same time. You can just do one at a time if you want. Holding on to the left big toe. Push. Woo. Trying to stay balanced here. Oh my goodness. I can really feel that stretch that I need on the backs of my legs. You can hold on also to the outsides of the feet if that feels better to you. The toe joint doesn't feel like being stretched that much right now. If you're down here, that's fine too. I'm going to work on stretching those legs. All right, slowly release back down. Great job. Oh, excellent. All right, let's do one more quick little stretch while we're here. For the legs, I just feel so much need to stretch my legs. So let's extend the right leg out to the side. Bring that left foot in. We're going to turn to the left knee and either hold on to the left knee with the right hand if you want some more twist in your life, or just reach out straight if you're looking for more stretch. All right, inhale, reach the left hand straight up. And exhale, we're just going to go straight sideways. So we're keeping our chest facing forward. Reaching our fingers towards towards our toes. And inhale, come back up. Exhale, we're going to turn towards that extended leg. Keep pushing through that right heel. Hands on the thighs. Take an inhale. Exhale, draw the fingers down towards the heel or towards the knee. And we can completely let our back curve over here. Let our neck relax as much as feels like the right amount. Pushing still through that right heel. Slow, steady breath. And then keeping the hands on the leg, draw them back towards the hips as we sit back up. And we'll just switch sides. Push through the left heel, bring the right foot in a bit. Turn towards the knee first. Hold on if you want more twist. Reach out if you'd like a little bit more stretch. Inhale, reach the right hand straight up. And exhale, hinge over. We're pushing through the left heel. Oh, I can really feel I'm so much tighter in my backs of my legs, my hamstring, and oh, I think it's my psoas on this side is super tight. On an inhale, coming back up. We're going to again turn towards the extended leg, hands on the leg. Take an inhale. Exhale, reach them down the leg as far as feels like an okay stretch for you. Keep pushing through the left heel. Ooh. Slow down your breath. And then slowly come all the way back up to seated. Excellent job. Make sure there's plenty of room to lay down behind. We get to move into our Shavasana. Holding onto the knees, roll down onto the mat. And when you get down to the mat, do a little rolling side to side or front to back. Any other stretching that you might need, anything that feels good. Maybe just some windshield wiper of the knees. That can feel so good on the low back. And then finding a place to rest that feels right to your body today. For some of us, it's going to feel the best to not be on our back. There are plenty of reasons that doesn't feel good, so feel free to come right into on your side if that feels better. All right, I'm going to try to be laying down if you can. If we're on our back, we can have our feet up on the mat, out to the side, so our knees can just rest against each other. That feels so good on the low back. Or we can, of course, have the feet, the legs extended long, feet rolling open. Or if you want a little more stretch right now, you can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees rest out. It's as you wish. Find the place that works best for you. Allow your body to soften down. Noticing how easily our breath comes back to that natural rhythm without even having to think about it. Finding gratitude for that easy, natural breath. For some of us, Savasana is actually the most challenging asana. And it is a place that we can really begin to have a breakthrough if we are struggling with the amount of stress in our life. We feel like we constantly have to be going in order to be good, in order to be okay, in order to be productive. Practicing being in Savasana is a wonderful way to allow ourselves to be in that grace of being perfectly imperfect. Allowing the eyes to soften, all the muscles around the jaw, letting the tongue relax from the roof of the mouth. Shoulders melting down into the mat, the hips melting down, the back releasing. Finding space for any emotions that may come up for us during our relaxation. Knowing that all of those thoughts that are in our mind right now, all that chatter that may be there, it's all okay. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to change it, make it different. Savasana is an opportunity to practice just being with that. Practice letting go of our attachment to those things. We all have those attachments. This is a wonderful opportunity to practice letting go. Finding gratitude for everything our amazing bodies move us through in an hour, in a day, in a month. Settling into this moment. To gently bring our attention back. Maybe taking some deeper breaths, wiggling our fingers and toes, doing any stretching. And as you're ready, gently turning onto one side and curling up for a few more breaths of relaxation. Allowing the body to transition before we sit up. And then nice and slow, very carefully, making your way back up to a comfortable seated position. Thank you all so much for joining me this morning. It is such an honor and a joy for me to be with you. I'm very eager for the time we can all be together in the same room again. For now, though, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. That which is good and light in me sees and honors that which is good and light in each of you. Namaste. A great rest of your day. And stay hydrated. You have to go outside today. Stay hydrated. See you next week.